Hey, how you doing? So this is sort of our talk radio version of the OMSR, where I don't set up the set. You know, 'cause I'm going to be talking only for about 2 minutes. And then what do we got? 4 minutes, right? Yeah, 4 minutes of the clips. But with regard to the introductory graphics, yeah, the fight on the Arizona sideline, were those players recruited by Rich Rodriguez, is my question there. Not much of a fight, it could have been, but it's not something you see very often. Then David Pollock's been spot on, he's pretty funny. Talked about football yesterday, and that's the first bowl preview of the bowls to come. We hope not. Let's get a little D going on the Utah State. It was Utah State playing Toledo game. That sort of blew up in the fourth quarter. And then, you know, my beef on the Life Rant Sports Rant of the show. No more Big East basketball? You know, in the words of Janis Joplin, what's going on? That's like a tragedy. You know, I can guarantee you, if it wasn't for this BC mess, that all of those other schools would not have jumped ship and gone to other conferences, because that was the motivation for it. And you have to remember, you know, the Big East being as big as it was because a lot of schools played just like the Villanovas of the world basketball. And so now it's not going to be anymore. Can you imagine that? The conference in America, going way back yonder to St. John's and Chris Mullen and Patrick Ewing and Rodney Cycli at Syracuse. It's just, it's bad. You know, I'm just like shocked to see that. So, and they're still going through with San Diego State being part of the BCS, or the Big East, you know, Freudian slip. The Big Beast, as I've been calling it, a mania football show in the past. You'll see in the title, Conference Realignment, if you're interested in a little bit further more discussion relevant to the clips being shown as well. And we discussed this at length. And there's no more BCS now, so it's like all for naught. All right, on with the clips.
You can break down some players we should be watching in some of these games.
Well, I think that you start with Arizona versus Nevada, and this is going to be first 1 to 40. You see some games where it's like, hey, you're going to get first 1 to 21 in the SEC. Kadeem Carey is one of the most efficient backs in college football. You watch him with Rich Rodriguez's system. He has absolutely taken off. He's only a sophomore. You'll get more of him in the future. He's going to tote the rock a lot. Him, Matt Scott, have had a lot of success. And now you go to BYU. And BYU, you think about defense all year long. The last 3 games, the big fella, 6'4", 215 pounds, Cody Hoffman, they actually have a passing game. It's weird. Riley Nelson actually hooking up with Mr. Hoffman. 8 touchdowns the last 3 games. 8. He's been on an absolute tear, giving them a little bit of balance and a little bit of offense, more importantly, to go with that vicious defense. And you want to go a little under the radar? Terrence Broadway. On Broadway is getting it done. They played Florida 4 weeks ago, or 4 games ago. The 27-20 game, remember, Florida blocks the punt. Since that point, this offense has really been on a tear. He's rushing the football well, passing the football well. He's a fun, under-the-radar player to watch. High-flying offense that should score a lot of points. And this guy, everybody knows. This is going to be the opening game next year that everybody's pointing to. Washington versus Boise State. They play in the opener. Keith Price last year in the Alamo. Remember what he did against Robert Griffin?
Remember the Alamo.
7 touchdowns, 400 and something yards passing, 3 rushing touchdowns. He was on fire. When he hasn't turned the football over this season, they've done a great job. Their defense has really taken a step forward this year as opposed to last year. So if he can take care of the football, Keith Price and Washington, the only ones stop themselves.
Might as well. If they had 3 downs, they'd still be scoring.
I mean, there's got to be something that inside of you just goes, okay, we're just going to blitz every play and play man-to-man and just see what happens. It's awful. All right, so we know that the defensive-minded Pollock is going to be in the frame of mind that he is. What offensively is working against defenses that are admittedly not the most stout defense?
Everything's working
Actually,
right now.
What isn't working?
Yeah, because I am very impressed, though, with Arizona right now, how they've been able to fight through some adversity. It's demoralizing. You've had a couple of extra weeks to get ready for this game. You blink, you're down 14-0. Then Jared Baker fumbles a kickoff return, giving the football right to Cody Fajardo, who turns around and throws a touchdown pass to Zach Sudfeld. Now you got fights breaking out on your own sideline amongst your own players.
You don't see that a lot. That's a defense and offensive guy.
Things aren't going great, but to the offense's credit, they didn't lose their poise. They had 2 bad drives early in this game, and after that came back, started finding their footing. Matt Scott throwing the football, running the football. Kadeem Carey got going, running it as well. It's pretty apparent now. these defensive staffs with their players in a halftime, whoever makes the best second half adjustment wins this game.
No, I think whoever makes the most mistakes loses the game. And that's the only reason that Arizona's in the ballgame right now. I mean, Nevada had a great chance to put their foot on the throat, but 2 fumbles, they give it back to them. Arizona scores touchdowns.
Big interception, too.
The interception. I mean, it's the turnovers that's been the difference so far. Otherwise, it's not defense. We've got 8 touchdowns, and we just had a field goal from a dude wearing number 60. And that's how we get to 31-28 at college basketball at Providence. The Big East will be no more. Today, formally, the presidents of the 7 basketball-playing only schools in the Big East, and those would be Georgetown, St. John's, Nova, DePaul, Marquette, Seton Hall, and Providence, issued a statement which reads,
I mean, can you imagine? This is all BCS somewhat related.
Evolution to a foundation of basketball.
And the BCS isn't going to be anymore?
Tradition on which the
I'm sorry, I should shut
was
up.
established. In other words, as we all suspected, those 7 will look to go off on their own. Remains to be seen if they will look to other schools, perhaps in the A10, be it a Xavier. Some have suggested a St. Joe's, but the Nova issue might come up. But anyway, back to the original point here. The Big East 7 basketball-playing schools say they will go off on their own and look to create a new identity. That's basketball. This here's football. Bowl season is upon us.
Oh, that is...
We'll be underway.
Oh.
Enjoy. We'll see you at the half of the next game.